So today we're going to see about constructor and destructor in C++. So myself, Dr. J. Sendil Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, KIT Kalankar Karnataka Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. So what is mean constructor? So we can show that it's a name and the same name of the class names are called constructors. Here, it is a special member function whose task is initialize the objects of its class. The constructor is invoked whenever an object of its associated classes is created. It is called constructor because it is a constructor the values of the data members of the class. So this is the definition of an constructor. This is an example of constructor. So I have created a class name as integers. So I have called that integers with the help of public. So here I have declared that constructor with an data. So here I am mentioning as m equal to zeros. So when we created the class name with an object, automatically it will be called here with the help of the constructors. So there is an example of an constructors. So we can see in the coding how it is used. So this is in the starting state. So class name, my class name is test. So I have created a constructor here. Yes. So my class name. So my class is printing a hello world. So how it is created? Class name and an object. When it's created like this, automatically it will be called here and it displays hello world. So let us check the output for this program. So I can see the output. This loading. Yeah. So it is showing us hello world. So here the constructor is created. The same. Okay, next one is characters of constructor. The characters of constructor is declared in the public sections. It is invoked automatically when the object is created. It does do not have the return type and cannot be an inheritance. So it is in default arguments is used. Constructor cannot be in virtual. We cannot refer to their address and make them the implicit calls to the operators new and delete when the memory is allocated. So these points come under the dynamic memory allocations. So these are the characteristics of constructors. So we have the different types of constructors. One is default constructors, parameters constructors, copy constructor, and dynamic constructors. So first one is the default constructors. So default constructor is otherwise called as an zero arguments constructor, as it does not take any parameters. So we don't have any parameters. It's called default constructors. So defined by the user. If it is not, then compiler creates its on his own. Default constructor always initialize the data members of the class with the same values thereby defined. So you can see the syntax of the constructor, default constructor. So here we don't have the parameters. This we are calling as default constructors. The example of default constructors, we can see that there is no parameters in this area. So this is the initializations, my class name, and I have declared that two data as name and age. So I'm going to display the name and age in this constructors. So when it is called, you can see that class name and as an object. When it is called, automatically it will be called here. Then I'm displaying the values here. Okay. So the name will be displayed here. What is the name here? That is a student, and the age is 12. So when we run this code, you can see the output for this code. So default constructor is created. The name of the student is name of the current object is student, and the age of the current object is 12. This we are calling as default constructors. So next one is parameter constructors. Parameter constructor is used to initialize the data members with the values provided by the users. This constructor is basically the upgrade version of the default constructors. We can define the more than one parameters constructors according to the needs of the user, but we can have to follow the rules of the function overriding. We have to follow the function overriding rules, like a different set of arguments must be there for each constructor. So the syntax of parameter constructors, you can see the two types. We have the parameters in this box. So the example of parameter constructors, you can see the parameter constructors. We have there are three declared variables. For examples, I'm going to give a string as brand and a string as model and integer as in year. So X is mentioning as in brand, Y is mentioning as in model, and Z is mentioning as in year. So when I call the constructors with the help of object, C1 is an object, So by BMW X5 and 1999. So this is the first objects automatically it will be called and it is displayed here. Next one is I have created another one objects RD and Q5 in 2005. So when I compile this code, you can see the output for this code. The BMW X5 and 1999, RD9 in Q5 in 2000. So this we are calling as parameter constructors. Next one is in copy constructors. We are copying the data to the other compilers. We have the same objects of the class, and if we want to create its copy in a new declared objects of the same class, then a copy constructor is used. The compiler provides each class a default constructor, copy constructor, and the user can be defined as always. Also, it takes a single arguments which is an objects of the same class. So this is a copy constructors. The syntax of the copy constructors. So here the class names with an objects with a symbol called an ampersand, which is used for copying the objects. The code for this copy constructors. So here I created the copy constructors here. So when I declare the values like 101 and Manjut, so automatically the value will be copied and it will be stored in this fetch and it is displayed here. So this we are calling as copy constructors. So how I am swapping the values here? So you can see the number and then string. So automatically this values is going to the register and n is mentioning as n and it will be going to the name. So after that it will be copied here. So this we are calling as copy constructors. So next one is in dynamic constructors. When the memory is allocated dynamically to the data members at the runtime using a new operators, the constructor is known as a dynamic constructor. This constructor is similar to the default or a parameters constructors. The only difference is it uses a new operator to allocate the memories. So with the help of the new operators is allocate to the memories, the dynamic constructor is created. So this is a syntax here. I am using a dynamic constructors which is used to create a memory allocations. So this is a coding here. So I have created in the pointer with the help of the I have created the uh, constructor with the help of string here. Class name is a string and constructor name is a string. So here the value is be counted and the length is 0. So here the dynamic constructor is created with the help of pointers. So you can see this pointer is reference will be used because with the reference only we can dynamically we can allocate the memories. So the value is passed here. So we are using a joint here. So if the first name is in Hari, then second name is in name Arun, and third name is in Krish. So when I created the name like this, so we'll be checking the output. I can explain how it is created. So first name is Hari, Arun, Krish. Now I am going to join Hari and Arun. So it will be joined like this. Then Hari, Arun, Krish. So this will be joined here. This we are calling as dynamic memory allocations. Next one we are going to see about the destructor. So destructor is an instance member functions that is invoked automatically whenever an object is going to be destroyed. The destructor is the last function that is going to be called before an object is destroyed. So this is the syntax. Here the tilde symbol which is used to for the destructors and the class name is similar to an constructors. So this is the characteristics of constructors. The destructor is also a special member functions like a constructor. Destructors destroy the class objects created by the constructors. The destructor has the same name as their class name preceded by the tilde symbols. So which is used for deleting the class objects. It is not possible to define more than one destructors. Destructor is the only one way to destroy the objects created by the constructors. Hence, destructor can be overloaded. So we can see the example code. So how it is created? First, I have created the class name. Class name with the help of the class name, I have created the constructors. So here I have created the default that is default destructors. When I using this test class name with an object, automatically it will be called first here, then it will be called the second one. So you can see the code how it is going on. So constructor is created, then destructor is done. So this we are calling as destructors. So it cannot be declared as static or constant. Destructor neither requires any arguments nor returns any values. It is automatically called when an object goes out of the scope. Destructor releases the memory spaces occupied by the objects created by the constructor. In Destructor, the objects are destroyed in the reverse of an object creations. So these are some characteristics of destructor. When is the destructor is called? A destructor function is automatically called when the object goes out of the scope or is deleted. Destructor is called when a function is ends. So when the function is ends, destructor is called. So when the program ends, the destructor is called. When a block of containing a local variables ends, then destructor is called. Then the called when the delete of operators is destructor is called here. So when is the destructor is called? So these are the key points here. Next we are going to see about the need of the destructors. So it is used for an resource management, automatically cleanup, exception safety, preventing the resources leaks in the inheritance, release the customs. Okay, these are the some need of the destructors. So conclusions about the constructor and destructors. The constructor and destructors are the special member function of the class which are created by the C++ compiler or can be defined by the users. Constructor is called by the compiler whenever the object of the class is created. It is allocated memories to the objects and initialize the class data members. Destructor is called by the compilers when the object is destroyed and its main function is to be deallocate the memories of the objects. Constructor has the same name of the class, while the destructor has the same name of the class with a prefix tilde symbols operators. Both the constructor and the destructors can be defined as a public, private, or protected, but it is better to declare the constructor as a public. The constructor can be a parameters, but the destructor doesn't have any distinct parameters. So these are the some conclusions about constructor and destructors. So thank you, thanks for the listening, and happy learning to all. Thank you.